Visibility is more dangerous than no visibility. I once worked with a complex organization where each project was worth several $100,000. Every delivery involved dozens of people across multiple teams, and the full cycle could take anywhere from 3 to 9 months. The company had a tracking system. It showed the workflow, the current status, who was responsible, and where each project was in the process. On the dashboard, things were moving. From the outside, the system looked under control, but delivery was still slow. The first reaction was simple: maybe we do not have enough people. So the company added more people. That created more handoffs, more communication, more interpretation, and less clarity about who was responsible for what. With added capacity, but the company added coordination cost. Another visible problem: too many rejections, too much rework. So they created a KPI to reduce the number of rejections. Sounds reasonable. Fewer rejections should mean better work. But once rejection became a performance problem, people stopped treating them as useful information and started treating them as evidence that could be used against them. So the work moved outside of formal systems. Calls, Teams, emails, they fixed problems informally before recording the final result. The number of rejections went down, but the system did not improve. The data became less honest. The problems had moved outside the dashboard. That is false visibility, having enough information to feel confident while the real structure of the problem stays hidden. The organization still had reports. It still had KPIs. It still had workflow data. But now the data was shaped by fear and blame. The metric improved. Reality became harder to see. There was another problem. Different teams used the same statuses, but they meant different things. For one team, completed meant their part had been submitted. For another, completed meant the work had been accepted. For leadership, completed meant the entire stage was ready for the next one. One word, 3 different realities. The organization had shared data without shared meaning. At the report, the numbers appeared comparable, and they were describing different things. The dashboard became structurally unreliable. With different definitions, hidden corrections, delayed updates, and work outside the system. Next reaction: the process is too complex, so more steps were added. More approvals, more checks, more controls, more reporting. Each new step had started as a partial solution of visible problem. Together, those partial solutions made the system slower, heavier, and harder to understand. The wrong question is, how do we deliver faster? The better question: what kinds of rejections are happening? Is the cause of unclear instructions, weak training, one vendor, or the system itself? Are only 2 vendors making the same mistake, or are all 20? Are we measuring the real duration of the work or only the time between status updates? If 2 people make the same mistake, it may be a local performance issue. If every vendor makes the same mistake, it's probably not a vendor problem. It may be a guideline problem, a training problem, or design problem. The wrong goal is to make rejections disappear from system. The correct goal should be to understand what the rejections are telling you. Now, the hard part. That also requires a no-blame environment. The people were not acting irrationally. They were responding logically to the incentives they were given. If a system punishes bad news, it will eventually stop receiving honest news. If delayed status is punished, people will wait to open the next stage until the work is almost finished. If rejection are treated as failure counts, People will hide rejections. If dashboards are used to find someone to blame, dashboards stop showing reality. Before improving the process, the organization first had to restore truth in the data. That means one shared vocabulary, one clear meaning for every status, clear definition of completion, structured rejection categories, links between rejections and guidelines, comparison across vendors, teams, and project types, real-time stamps, not managed timestamps, and no blame approach to diagnosis. Only then could leadership see the actual system. Only then could it understand why some projects took 3 months and others took 9. Only then could it see which steps were unnecessary, which steps were missing, and where real capacity problems existed. Before strategy optimization, the company needed a truthful picture. Because a system cannot improve what it has learned to hide. No visibility creates caution. False visibility creates confidence in the wrong picture.